What you got to say? Say, hey, hey, hey. What you got to say?
Welcome to another edition of Hollywood Hernandez Live. Here on set, we have a very fine young woman in her deeds and many acts that she does. Her name is Beverly Pipkins.
Absolutely.
And she is in charge of a group called Promise House.
The Real Promise.
The Real Promise.
Right.
Okay, well, tell me about The Real Promise.
So I actually used to work for a place that's called Promise House. But I did my tenure in law enforcement. I was a state officer for state parole. I was a sex offender officer. So I noticed that as a sex offender officer, they had a lot of kids and the ages were getting younger and younger. So a lady called me and she said, hey, can you do this human trafficking over at the Promise House? So I went over to the Promise House. What I noticed is that Promise House wasn't faith-based. And I wanted to work faith-based. Mm-hmm. So I ended up walking away and I started my own nonprofit. I actually drive 18-wheelers now, but I started my own nonprofit, which is The Real Promise. And I started this about a year ago, and I rescue girls from the human traffickers.
Now, what is it exactly you do through The Real Promise House?
So what happened, I kept a lot of contacts with the FBI. So I always worked with the local police and just the community, because Home Depot and McDonald's partner with me and give these girls jobs. So when I would actually go work the street and slip them a card. If they wanted out, they would call me. So what I would do is I would rescue them and put them in a safe place. So I built a room onto my house. And it's a full shower.
You're so sweet.
So it's nowhere that they can stay for a long period of time, but they can stay for emergency, times. So, and I would connect them with mentors, life coaches, get them a job, I kind of build their identity back because they didn't have, they'd been disconnected from their family. So I would get them a Social Security card, get them in school, get a GED. They've been on the street since they were about 12 or 13. Mm-hmm. When I get them, they're 17, 18. So they're all messed up.
So how's it working out with the girls living in your house and getting reintegrated in the workforce?
Actually, if it wasn't for Home Depot, a guy his name is Willie Jones. He was the general manager. If it wasn't for that guy, he and a lady named Sue from McDonald's, and these were like franchises, the McDonald's, they would give them jobs for me, so at least I know where they were during the day. So that was one thing. But the thing, they could work and get a paycheck of $400. Well, these young ladies know how to go and make $4,000 or $5,000. So the hardest part of my job is to show them how to do it the right way. Yeah, so
that's something that you could do all that and put them back out there on the street.
You remember I told you about the young lady that's on the card?
Yeah.
I actually, they kept in touch with me. Like when they leave, it's like I'm going on to find somebody else, but they would always come back and keep in touch with me. Hey, Miss Beverly, thank you for saving my life. Or, I didn't make money off of this. So to me, that was like a paycheck for them to come back and say, hey, you saved my life and I'm doing it different now. And so I took pride in that.
So how are you managing to fund this?
I drive 18-wheelers. So I use my own personal money.
Your own personal money?
Right. Or, I met a guy, he owned an oil company. So every now and then I have to send him a text and see if he'll donate something. But, actually, if it's not, it was out of my pocket. So, and then I told you I met some ladies that I asked, she'd have a boutique. And so they donate clothes. I had friends that I would just ask for at least clothes and toiletries, things that the young ladies need to just get back on their feet. And then, you get them a job. Then you teach them how to manage their money.
After a while, you say, go on.
I drive them, I take them to an apartment complex. I'm teaching them everything, how to actually become a productive citizen. So, some of them, they make it, and some of them go back.
How in the world did you get this idea as a truck driver to help? Is it primarily young women?
Yeah, well, the company I work for, men are out there too, but we didn't know how to help them, So we would just, because a lot of these kids are aging out of foster care or runaways or somebody's getting into the DM on social media. So it was just hard to find ways to help young men. But we would find housing for them, but we didn't know how to help them the same way we were helping young ladies. Because young ladies were out there and they were being prostituted and they have to go to jail if they get caught. And so I was sitting in a room one day with I know about 26 people from all over the world. These people couldn't speak English, but we were talking about how to come together and prosecute the people that who's paying for these girls. So we was trying to figure out how do we put them in jail? Because the young ladies were going to jail, they were getting records, and when they get out, they can't get a job. It was just terrible. So we were just trying to figure out how do we lock up the men. So when you just asked me how did I get this idea to get on the truck, the trafficking became dangerous for me. Traffickers started looking for me. So it was like, they would send me videos with AK-47s and double-sword machetes.
So they gonna get you?
Yeah, we're gonna chop your little fat. They would call me everything.
Oh, man.
So I said, hey, I'm gonna jump on the truck. I'm half 100, and I've helped a lot of people. So I was like, I'm gonna jump on the truck, and I started. But I was gonna stay in touch since these girls were still calling me. I was gonna stay in contact with them and keep them on the right track. So if I could do that, if I could help one of them, I pretty much felt like my job was.
Are the police involved, and are there any kind of judges that support you on this? And
actually, I know a lot of them. Everybody's kind of jumping on board now because it's a big deal now. It wasn't always talked about, but now we have a lot of meetings that we, conferences and things that for that nature that we kind of connect and work together. So I was always working with the local police in the community. So if something happened, somebody's missing, I could call them, or I had numbers, or I had contacts. But if you go now to any police department, they have a little section in that department now that's everybody's focusing on human trafficking. One of my closest friends, she's the CEO of Traffic 911, Lindsay Speed. I first started working with her.
Yeah.
And she's always worked with the police, 911. So I would get young ladies and I can automatically take them to any police department and tell them Traffic 911, and we would get them in a safe place.
Wow. So the women, I had read some kind of statistic about human trafficking, that in the city of Dallas alone, over 100 women go missing every night.
Yep. And if you just drive the streets of Dallas over by these truck stops, you will see it. Now, some of them, you're going to automatically know that, hey, some of these people are out here just on drugs, and this is what they do to, furnish their habit. But if you drive some of these places, I had a young lady from Wichita. The whole family was in on this. So the little brother was already pretty much like, he was like winging her for this. And she said, she made a comment like, I want to go to Dallas and I want to go to Six Flags. So the older brother was like, yeah, we can take you to Dallas and Six Flags. He brought her to Dallas and passed right by Six Flags. But he took her over on Harry Hines and put a gun to her head and said, hey, this is what you're gonna bring, you're gonna bring me this back. And the whole family was in on it. So she snuck and called me one day and let me listen to the mother. And the mother was saying things like, I don't know if I need to watch my language out here, man. But the mother was like, take that B to the truck stop over off of Bonneview, 20. You can make a lot of money out from over there. So if you go places in that area, you would actually see it.
Wow. And beside sex trafficking, they also have a lot of these women that working in factories. They make them do work. And
that's what I wanted to explain. I'm certified human trafficking trainer. So I go places and train people about human trafficking. And that's what I like to talk about. It's more than just sex trafficking. It's,
Right.
it's all different kind of trafficking. Because,
They're working or not getting paid.
Right. You have these guys that's drug dealers. If they have a kid taking drugs to a school, that's trafficking. They're making them sell drugs in a place, So it's all different kind of trafficking. I just identify with sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
So these young ladies, like I said, they've been on the streets since they're 12, 13. They don't know anything else. So a lot of times they want to go back because trafficking has become their life or their family,
Mm-hmm.
So it's the hardest part of my job is just, like I said, trying to coerce them to do it the right way.
So what is it that you can do that you haven't done, yet? I mean, how can you raise funds? How can you do a charity and all those kind of things?
I actually was trying to do an event in September that, because of COVID, didn't go well. It, it just kind of just didn't go right. So I'm still trying to do that. So trying to put myself out there and let people know that you can't do it. Takes a community. You can't do it by yourself. So you do need funding, because you have to feed them. I mean, I used to drive them around town in my own personal car because that was the only way I could get them to talk to me. They were comfortable in my car for some reason. So I would drive them around town and they would tell me or point out to me places where they either were raped or abused. And so it was a way to just let it out. To me, I felt like, okay, well, I'm going to drive them around like that and then they can let it all out. And then, like I said, one girl, she got a job at Home Depot and she worked her way all the way up, became the cashier, the front end supervisor.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we need to help you get some kind of fundraising effort going. I mean, everybody wants some money nowadays. But, all of these big organizations, they have all these big balls and, dinners and events. And, what are they doing for the people who are, homeless like that?
And, if they don't know you're out there, that's the first thing is getting
awareness.
Yeah.
So this is part of it right here.
Right.
Right, just letting people know.
And so what I do, some of the girls come back and work for me. So we go to public schools and churches and do awareness of human trafficking. But we're not getting the money. So
right.
But again, I'm always thinking. I'm always spinning my wheels in my head trying to think of ways to raise funds because I dare feed all these kids and starve my own, so because I'm taking money out of my own pocket.
That's not right that you're taking it out of your own pocket. There are a lot of other organizations like North Texas Food Bank. I'm with an organization that feeds the homeless. If you might want to team with them.
Oh, absolutely, because that's a good way for me to connect with the kids on the street as well. Because if I'm going out there and giving you a bag, I can also slip you a card, or I can ask you a few questions.
Right.
Are you safe, or how can I help you? And I met a young lady the other day in a store, and she had a black eye, and I saw a guy like on the next aisle, and she had a baby. And so I said, well, is that your baby, daddy? She said, no. And so I slipped her my card and I said, I can help you, And she was, obviously he was beating her. But she actually called me later. So, I think it's just good to get it out there. I might not always be the one to help them, but somebody, at least they know somebody would help them.
How receptive are people when you go up to them and say, hey, I want to help you? They're like, oh, yeah, right. Everybody, all these
Absolutely.
people that tried to help.
You meet all kinds. Because they're afraid of the trafficker. So if he catches them talking to me, that could be a beating, So I have to do it. You just got to be creative. So I invite them to church. I try to just do it all kind of ways. And sometimes they're not keen on it. They don't bite the bullet.
Okay, well, how can people get a hold of you?
Well, I have my business card. I pass it out to everybody.
Right, well, we can't give that right now.
but my number, you can reach by my Cash App if you want to donate, or my
let's
business
get
number.
the Cash App first.
It's $ Beverly Pipkins and the number 1.
Okay.
And then my number is, my business phone number is 469-456-3358. My personal number, I will get my personal. It's 469-286-5175.
And we urge people, please reach out to Beverly. Do what you can to help. I mean, could you imagine if your daughter was involved in something like this?
Absolutely.
You know, if your daughter, if one day your daughter is missing, you know, I mean, how would you feel?
And I have a 17-year-old, so I mean, that's what made me work hard, because it could be my daughter. And real quick, when I was a sex offender officer, I would talk to those guys when they would come in my office and sit before me. I would treat them like they were my brother, my uncle, my dad, because my goal was to never see them reoffend, snatch a kid off the street. So, I mean, even those guys still call me. Hey, Miss Pipkins, you know, thank you, because they did things when they were teenagers, 17, 18-year-olds, and they've spent 30, 40 years in prison. So my goal is to kind of, if you treat them like convicts, they're going to act like convicts. So, you know what I'm saying? Treat them like they're somebody, and they'll go out and act like somebody. And now these guys got businesses, and it's a good way to let them pour back into my business.
Well, Beverly, I'm so glad that I met you and learned about your story. And you were not shy. I put it out there. We were having dinner with your cousin. And like, yeah, I got a card. I got a thing. You know, you had a TV show. I come on there. You know? You were ready. You were the most ready guest I think I've ever had.
Hey, I'm out having dinner with my friends and sorority sisters and everything like that. They tell me, you're always passing out a card. I said, one day you're gonna get in the right hands and somebody gonna partner with me.
Well, there you go. There you go.
And I appreciate you.
We got you in there. Okay, Beverly. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you for having me.
And God bless you.
Thank you.
We really are happy about all the things that you were doing. Unfortunately, that you have to do the things that you're doing, but still, thanks.
You bet.
All right, we've got more to come, so don't go no place. You're watching Hollywood Hernandez Live. We're back here on Hollywood Hernandez Live. And I know you look here and you say, is that Janet Jackson? Could be. It is Valerie Wooten Mitchell, who is a Janet Jackson impersonator. Do you like that? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's cool.
That offend you? Like, you know,
No.
I ain't no
No.
impersonator.
No, you know.
I'm Janet.
No, not Janet. Yeah.
You're the soul of Janet Jackson. Girl, I have known you for a long time, and you have done Janet Jackson dancing and impersonator. I even went one time, and I was terrible at it, so I just basically watched. But you were given a class teaching Janet Jackson's style of dance, and I did. Okay, that's about it.
Yeah.
I was watching you ladies, but you even give a class as
Yeah, we did a dance workshop, and I just kind of created a Janet Jackson line dance, so to speak. Yeah.
Cool. Well, like I said, you've been impersonating Janet Jackson since the 80s, right? Who are some of the many artists that you have backed up as Janet Jackson?
Oh, wow.
I know all the Jacksons, right?
For us backing up, I started doing the K104 when y'all used to do the free concerts in the park. So I worked Terry Avery. She had contacted me, and Jocelyn, and it was somebody else. I can't think of her name, but basically I was opening up like for Climax, Najee, Zap. You know how the concerts in the park, they were free.
Yeah.
And Michael Hernandez, they were all a part of that, and they were bringing all the artists. So I would be one of the opening acts, and she would pay me, and that's kind of like how I started doing the opening acts. But as a kid, I watched Janet on the variety shows and stuff, and quickly became a fan because I love that little sassiness. And a true story, one time I was I don't know if I was it was between kindergarten and the second grade, somewhere in there. Might have been the first grade. And my teacher was out, so we had a substitute teacher. So I put one of them Janet Jackson, Mae West moves. So the substitute teacher, she was calling the roll, you say present or here. So I got up, was like, here? And she said, okay, you hear your butt right on outside that door. So
you was being little Penny.
Yeah, so I was just acting up, and back then you got it from the teacher, then the principal, and then from home.
Your mom at home.
Yeah, so when my teacher got back, she was like, oh, Miss Wooten, I heard you was cutting up. But so anyway, and then to kind of go back, of course, the Jackson 5s. I was in love with all the Jacksons, and I started performing early on. I was in all kind of dance contests and stuff leading up to the Jackson stuff, and I guess I want to say probably between the time Janet was on Good Times and up, people start saying, oh, you favor, Janet, this and that. Then when Michael started coming out with before Thriller, it was Off the Wall and so forth. People always said I favored Michael because I wore the little short Jerry curl back then. And so it was, it was always someone in the family.
No,
so,
not the Jerry curl.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
I want to see some old
and
pictures.
The killing part is my hair is naturally curly, but, a lot of us did perms back then. So,
you don't put that juice
you damaged your hair. Yeah.
Right.
But it took a long time for that curl to kick in, but, eventually it did. So anyways, fast forward, I was doing dance routines, and I was just always practicing stuff. And one particular time I was at City Lights in South Dallas, and I think we had a show, and we opened up Vanilla Ice was there and some other local artists and stuff, and one of the promoters was there, and which was my first time meeting him. And I've heard that he's deceased, but
Tommy Corn?
No, not Tommy. It was
I hope Tommy's still alive.
Cedric, and he just kind of disappeared. It was something strange behind.
A lot of them do that. They just
no. It was like something happened to him, and he just disappeared off the earth. So, but he was like, you guys want to go to Japan? This and that. We was like, what?
What?
Japan.
You went to Japan?
Yeah. So we was like, yeah, right. Yeah, we want to go. But not really believing it. And next thing you know, we was getting passports and gone for 7 months. So that was, other than locally performing, that was my first time going overseas performing, and I did that from the 80s up through the early mid 90s, going overseas to perform. So.
What was it like performing over there for them?
Oh wow!
They got it. They knew who Janet was.
Yes. In Japan, I love Japan. It was very, very eye-opening because in Japan they love entertainment, especially R&B. In Korea, that was a different story. That was very different.
What happened in Korea?
Oh wow!
They didn't like it.
Well, they did, but they're different. We got stuck over in Korea.
Huh.
Yeah, so maybe one day, my friend girl, she did the video with Michael Jackson, Tatiana, And she was the girl in the video, The Way You Make Me Feel.
Yeah, yeah.
So she wrote
Walking
a book.
down the street.
Yeah, she wrote a book, and she touched on that subject. I said maybe later on, I might give my version of it.
Now I gotta look up her book and see what happened in Korea.
Yeah, The King of My Heart, The Way You Make Me Feel.
Are they disrespectful in Korea?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
Yeah, they were that, and then we actually got stuck over there because we had probably like about 20 sponsors, and one sponsor with the briefcase, they say watch the briefcase
right,
in entertainment. Yeah, he ran out with all the money. So we were over there like scrambling and and was over there for a while. Actually, Eazy-E and Selena passed while we were. That's during the time we was there. They both passed during that time. But yeah, so. Oh, it was crazy. But like I say, Japan, I love Japan. And they're big fans of R&B, pop, period.
So let me ask you the question I know everybody wants to know.
Mm-hmm.
Have you met Janet Jackson?
I actually met Janet in, I want to say 86, 87. She was in Dallas. I think you were still with K104 at that time. And she was at the record company, not the record company, she was at the record store. I think it was Towers.
We used to all do the record store,
and she
the
was
Sound Warehouse.
Yeah, oh yeah, they knew not to bring her to Sound Warehouse. So she was at Towers, and she was promoting her album Control. So it was my time, and she's sitting like back here, and I'm out there, and so I told her that I was a Janet Jackson lookalike at that time. I was impersonating, but I had just won a lookalike contest with Ron Smith, Celebrity Lookalikes of Hollywood, California.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, I had just won a contract with him. So I was telling her, and she was like, saying how flattered she was. And at that particular time, she probably didn't even have anybody, doing her. So I asked if we could get a picture. And she was like, yeah, of course. But the thing was, she was sitting up so high. We were trying to figure out how can I get around there. So she was like, yeah, come on. But her, I want to say he might have been her security. He's like, well, Janet, I think you should think about that because, if y'all take a picture, then everybody else in here is going to want to take a picture of this and that.
They look like me.
Yeah, so she kind of looked like disappointed, and but at the same time, she didn't want to go against what he was saying.
Right.
So he said, well, do you mind if the baby will take a picture with us? And I was like, sure. It was my daughter. I was like, here.
So you put your daughter in there?
Yeah, so I had a picture at the house. So my daughter Ebony and Janet took the picture. Then the funny part was years later, they had this website called the JacksonsVault.com. And it had like all the Jacksons memorabilia, everything. Janet stuff, LaToya stuff. I mean, like birth records, driver's license, social security cards, report cards, you name it.
And there was a picture of you and your baby.
Yeah, Janet's stash. It had like 3 pictures of Janet and James DeBarge, her first husband. And there was a picture of her and my daughter Evan. I was like,
that should have been me.
Yeah.
That ain't right. That's not right.
I was like, wow. But yeah.
Man, that had to have been when the Controls album came out, when we had that big broadcast at City Hall Plaza. And I remember Chris and I, Arnold and I, were sitting there fighting over her. Literally.
Oh wow!
We both took a few punches, but yeah. And then we went to lunch with her at the Palm Restaurant in the West End, and she was so quiet.
Really?
She was sitting across the table, and she was so quiet. And I can tell you to this day exactly what she had. She had a piece of steamed fish and some hot tea. That's all. That's all she had. And so Chris and I had to go back to work. So we went up to her and said, well, we got to go back to work. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to spend more time with you. I said, you sorry? you couldn't have come sat by us for a little while or let us sit by you. Or that's when those the bodyguards and all those people.
Yeah.
Not fun to have around. Not fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever heard about this, but she went to this stage, and I don't know if she still has it. Mm-hmm. But when she would take pictures with people, we took a picture. Mm-hmm. She would not allow you to touch her.
Really?
Yeah, don't like, they'll be like, don't touch Janet. So,
wow.
Yeah, she didn't like being touched by strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other big thing that I want to ask you about is I just heard recently for Michael Jackson's birthday in his hometown, Gary, Indiana, you were there with the party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Me and my daughter went. Actually,
that's the same baby that took a picture with?
Yes.
Say, hey, this her niece.
So I printed some t-shirt. Well, I have a little press at the house, so I did our t-shirts with her and Janet picture on it and stuff. And that morning I got up. Don't ask me why I did it that particular morning when we were supposed to be getting ready for the airport. So her picture was slanted. But we wore the pictures of Ebony and Janet on the first day in Gary, Indiana. We went to the house and so forth. But anyway, I was contacted by Keith Jackson, which is the Jacksons' first cousin. Actually, he just lost his dad. May he rest in peace. He was the last living brother of Joe Jackson. And Keith, which is, Keith Jackson's dad. But anyway, Keith contacted me. This was the second time. Actually, I want to say 2000, was it 18, 19, somewhere up in there. Keith contacted me and he wanted me to talk to the promoters that were doing the Michael Jackson birthday celebration in Gary, Indiana. And at that particular time, they wanted to surprise Catherine Jackson, Michael's mom, and kind of show her some appreciation, because I think she normally would put things together and do the birthdays.
Were you
so
her
forth.
Surprise?
Well, no, they wanted to.
Your play daughter.
You need
I mean,
to quit.
Catherine like, oh no! What did Joe do?
Oh, don't start. But so anyway, sadly, Joe Jackson passed, so that was put off. So this time around, he contacted me this summer and was like, I want you to get in touch with LaDonna and talk to her, because I would love for you to come and do Janet Jackson. And so I talked to her. I sent pictures, this and that, a few videos, and so she was like, oh yeah, you my Janet, this is my Janet from Texas, da. So anyway, we go, and it was the whole weekend. What was that? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but we flew in Thursday, and we left the following Monday. And it was very touching, to be there at the house.
Yeah, but people were just like crazy for Michael there.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I mean, all down the street, up the street, you name it. And it's a lot of talented impersonators, and we had a little Janet Jackson. We had some Michael Jackson impersonators, Chosen and Rico. They're like from Chicago, Illinois area, Gary. They all just come there and put on a real nice show. But anyway, I didn't get a chance to see Keith because Keith was sick with this pandemic stuff, and he didn't get a chance to come. But I didn't get a chance to actually go in the house. That was one of the perks, but it didn't happen because of some things that was going on and so forth. But me and my daughter, we were there and visited the house, and I got some. My daughter picked up some
dirt.
Not dirt. Mulch.
Mulch. Okay. All right.
So I got about 5 pieces. I was like, okay, I'm gonna frame this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I mean, it was something that I've always wanted to do. So I checked that off, and it was nice. It was nice.
So is this something that you're going to continue to do? Impersonate Janet Jackson?
Well, I've done it full time, in my lifetime, and then I've taken breaks, and then I've done it for special occasions, birthdays, the the nursing homes, that type of stuff.
What is it like when you show up at a nursing home?
That's the fun part. The nursing homes and the daycare centers.
Really?
Oh, man. Yeah, to watch the little kids and the older people, those were like the best times. Yeah.
And Janet is just as great as she was back then. I mean, she's in shape. She's got her music. She's dancing. She ain't slowed down.
No.
So you can't slow down either.
Oh. Me and Janet are both that. They call it 5'5".
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah. But I enjoy doing it. I'm not doing it full time, but I'm just having fun with it. But at once upon a time, I was in it full time. I don't plan on doing that overseas stuff.
And you ain't going back to Korea no time soon.
No,
okay.
No.
All right. Well, look, Val, it was really good to have you to come by here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anytime,
Thank you.
Bring Janet with you next time if she's in the neighborhood. All right. Coming up, we have another segment of the show and our movie review. So stick around. This is Hollywood Hernandez Live. Welcome back to Hollywood Hernandez Live. You're about to get an education in Mexican culture. That's right, I said education. It ain't just a regular education. We're going to learn you something, all right? It's all about Mexican culture and the holiday called El Día de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead. Now, first of all, let me introduce my sister, Ms. Teresa Strange Johnston. And all this stuff that you see, beside my mom and daddy over there, this is an altar to our family. And this stuff is not demonic, right?
No, it is not demonic at all.
Tell them exactly what it is.
Okay, well, let me first start by telling you what Day of the Dead is not. It is not Halloween. It's after Halloween. It has nothing to do with Halloween. In fact, Day of the Dead is older than Halloween. It goes back about 3,000 years, and the Aztecs had started doing this celebration where they celebrate their dead, and that's what it's all about. It's not mourning their dead. It's a great celebration about what went on in the lives of our ancestors before us. So we're really happy that we're able to do this.
Right. So that's why, like I said, we bring this out as a tribute, and the little skeleton people there, they are the souls of our family members. And so this is how we celebrate El Día de los Muertos.
When we started this, there's this nonprofit in McKinney called the Legacy Keepers. Mm-hmm. Beth Bentley was the lady. She's a longtime McKinney resident, and she wanted to do something to show the community what the Black and the Hispanic community has done to contribute to McKinney. And so she started this, and one of the missions is to have this Dia de los Muertos so that we can talk about the Hispanic culture in McKinney.
But there was a bonus to it. How did it start out, actually?
It was a discovery of a Mexican cemetery there in McKinney and a Black cemetery. And so now there's a group of people that go around and help the Legacy Keepers clean it up. There's artists that repaint the headstones, and they go on certain Saturdays and they spend the day just cleaning up the area, and it's quite beautiful now. It's really neat.
Now, tell me about the event itself. It's going on in McKinney.
It'll be
On a Saturday.
October the 16th, which is
Okay.
a Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
from 12 to 9 p.m. at Glenn Mitchell Park in downtown McKinney.
Okay.
There's going to be all kind of stuff going on. We'll have Mexican food trucks there.
Oh, I'm in.
We'll have Mexican food trucks. We will have dancers.
Uh-huh.
We will have bands that are playing. We're going to have those I don't know what they're called. They look like Aztecs with the headdress and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going to be doing some dancing as well, and it's real tribal. It's really cool. There'll be artists. Here's some work from some of the artists that will be there.
These are yours, right?
Yep, they're mine. I wasn't going to.
You did these. She is a fine Mexican artist.
So there will be art out there. There'll be medals, there'll be dresses, there'll be shirts, there'll be purses, there'll be jewelry, all with a Mexican theme. Everything has a Mexican theme. Additionally, there will be other Hispanic groups there, like Puerto Ricans, I should say Latin, Puerto Ricans, I think Guatemala, just a few Cuban. There will be other groups there as well to explain. We want it to be an education as well as a celebration. So we're going to have booths where people are there explaining everything that's going to be going on.
That's good. That's good because people need that.
Right. I have been doing a lot of presentations around, and we've had some people that were a little nervous about me coming to talk. But, some of the things like when you have a celebration for Dia de los Muertos, there's a lot of symbolism. Like I have this monarch butterfly tablecloth on here, but the monarch butterflies come at Day of the Dead. They make it to Mexico. All that travel they do from all over the world, they make it on November 1st and 2nd to Mexico in this wonderful little area, and they just swarm in the trees, and they're there at that time. That just coincides. So the Hispanic community say that they bring the dead back home to visit for those 2 days. And then you've seen all the animals that are dressed, and they have bones painted on them and such. There's a Mexican hairless. It's not the Chihuahua. It's another one. It's like the dog that was in that movie with the little girl, that little boy that goes back into time. I can't think of it. Disney. Coco.
Coco.
Yeah, that dog. It's a kind of a blue hairless.
It's a mutt.
Dog. Zolo, I think it's what it's called. A Zolo dog. Anyway, so that takes the loved ones safely back to where they came from. And then, other things are involved in it, like the marigolds. That's the flower that's used in Mexico and on all the graves, and it's real fragrant. And we have candles, of course, to light the way. But the best thing about it is it's all about laughter. It's all about a good time. It's all about having fun. And there's no crying in Dia de los Muertos.
Right.
It's all a fun event. We tell stories about our loved ones, and we've had, usually what happens is they go to the grave sites and have a celebration there, and they bring the family's favorite foods.
Yeah.
They talk about different things. I actually remember when we were small, living on Gilbert Street, going to other houses, our aunts' houses and the Cormiers and such, and having tamales at one place and sweetbread at another and fideo at another place, and coming home very full, but loving it because it was a day of celebrating. And we tell funny stories about, like our grandmother, we'd eat a plate of food, and then when we're finished, she'll look at us and go, "What, you didn't like it?"
Right.
So, yes, Grandma, we loved it. Well, you didn't get any more. So, we have to get more. Or Uncle Leroy fell in the water when he was crabbing, and he had to go get stitches. But that was funny because he was drunk. So just stories like that. We just tell funny stories to make everybody remember and celebrate the good times. So, like I said, there's no crying in Day of the Dead. It's all a celebration.
Now, it's something that non-Latino people can celebrate.
Oh my gosh, lots of other cultures celebrate it in some way or in some form or fashion. They just didn't know it. But there are a lot of the Jewish people do it, the German people do it, the Italian people as well. There's many other cultures that celebrate their loved ones at different times, and so that's why we're inviting everyone to come out to this celebration. We're also asking people to bring pictures because in the center of the park is this big fountain, and we're making that an ofrenda. Ofrenda is an altar. This is like a mini version of that. And so we're going to have a lot of pictures of different people that have gone before us, even animals. And we'll have that set up around as well so that people can see. And then if someone comes and they didn't bring anything, we're going to have these beautiful little monarch butterflies where people can write the name of their loved one and go put it on the ofrenda as well to recognize their loved one.
Boy, that's cool. This is a well thought out celebration. Were you involved in this?
Yes, I was.
Well, look at it. The paintings, the party.
I'm on the planning committee for that. And I'm the social media marketing person for it as well. But we have some it takes a village to put on an event like this. And this is our first one. And McKinney, MCDC, it's McKinney Community Cultural District Community.
I didn't know there was a cultural community in McKinney.
Yes, it's very.
I thought yours was the only Mexican family that lived there.
Oh no, there's a lot of us. In fact, my whole street's just about all Mexican.
Oh,
family.
really?
Yeah.
Y'all probably all gathered together. I think that's what
But there, the McKinney district funded us, and then we got grants from other places as well. And so we're real happy because they believe in this opportunity for us to promote what Hispanics and Blacks have done for our community. So we're really excited.
Wow. This all brings back some great memories. I mean, what a great thing that, where's my little picture?
Here.
There you go. That's baby Hollywood. And that's my daddy and my sister. And I mean, can you imagine sitting around with old pictures like this and just reminiscing about your family and telling stories about how the time you got beat by your dad or
you may have. I was my daddy's little girl.
Yeah, I know you were. You never got whoopings.
No.
You never got whoopings.
But yeah, there's these little, this is Katrina. Oh, there's going to be a costume contest. Speaking of Katrina, there will be a costume contest as well. So that's going to be kind of cool to see. And they'll, like I said, dancing and things like that too. And then everything represents something in our community. I love this. Michael wants this to be him. This represents my daddy. But he says when he passes, he wants it to represent him. So I'm going to have to find another one because I have to have this one for Daddy.
My daddy was Superman. That's why he has a cape like that. Daddy was Superman. All right. Well, this is great. This is a great activity. I urge people to come out and support it. Where can they get more information from it?
You can go to McKinneyDiaDeLosMuertos.com.
Ooh, that's going to be tough for some people. It's Dia
DIA
de la Muertos.
de los.
Yeah. You know what you do? Look on Google and go to the language search and type in the phrase Day of the Dead.
Yeah, and it's McKinneyDiaDeLosMuertos.com. So it'll be a lot of fun. We may have a procession at the end where people come and present at the altar their loved ones' pictures, the costume contest, the dancing, the education, the arts and crafts. Art will have face painting, just all kind of fun stuff.
So if there's dance, that means there's music, right?
There's going to be bands playing. We have a Puerto Rican band that's playing at the end that are fabulous.
That's
They are
going to be
so good. We have some Selena impersonators.
Selena, like Valerie? They
You want to do Selena instead of Janet Jackson? We might have to teach her a few Spanish songs and be Selena.
All right, we can teach you some, yeah.
Beady beady bum bum.
All right, Teresa, that much everything. Did we wrap it up? Did we get all the details that
I think we did 9 to 12. Saturday, October the 16th.
October 16th. And why is it October 16th when the deal?
Well, that's kind of a little bit of
November
marketing
1st.
strategic planning on our part because Dallas has a giant one with the parade
Oh, really?
on the actual date, November 1st and 2nd. So does Denton and so does Denison.
Okay.
So we wanted to kind of get a jump.
Yeah,
and
I guess.
Call it a celebration instead of a festival.
Because you're out in McKinney, and there ain't nobody going to drive to Dallas from McKinney.
Yes, they are.
Nah.
But lots of people come. There will be a lot of booths there. Will be from Dallas as well.
Okay. Well, look, thanks for coming by. We'll have to flip a coin to see who's buying lunch. We got to get out of here. But come by anytime.
Thanks.
Good to have you.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That is my big sister, my oldest sister than me. And she is our guest today. Want to thank you so much for coming by. All right, want you to stay close. Our movie review is coming up next, right here on Hollywood Hernandez Live. Hollywood Hernandez Live, and right now it's time for our movie review. Got a good one this week. It's a movie that is not just showing at the theater. You could also see it on HBO Max. The movie is called The Many Saints of Newark. And these guys are far from saints. They're some bad dudes. The movie shows the younger generation of the Sopranos. They show the uncles and everybody as a young man. And Tony Soprano is played by Michael Gandolfini, who is James Gandolfini's son. And he does a real good job of capturing his dad's essence in the movie. The only thing I would say about this movie, first of all, it's very violent. A lot of violence going on. The movie is about violence, crime, and surprisingly enough, family. Because the group as a whole, they have a lot of love for each other. They're a real loyal family, even though even the family does things to each other. But the thing that I would say about the movie is it really should have been another series, another TV series, because for me it just wasn't enough. So the movie's not bad, but as a TV series, it really could have brought a lot more of that out. So I would have appreciated more so a series. Again, look for it on HBO Max, also showing at a theater near you. And by the way, just about movies in general, boy, the movies are back. This past weekend, the movie Venom made $90 million in its opening weekend, which is a post-pandemic record. So it looks like people are going back to the movies. Unfortunately, this one not so much. Only $4 million at the box office. But that's Look at Your Movie Review. Well, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you so much. Till next week, remember, do a random act of kindness for someone. You never know, just might change their life.
What do you want, Richard? I'll be honest with you.
I want money.
I want to do a good deed. I want to do a lot more.
The best things in life are free.
I try to set an example for my nephew.
Give them to the birds and bees. I want money.
Anthony got kicked out of school. I went through all that trouble, and for what?
I'm always being accused.
You gotta be good.
That's what I want.
I want to do whatever I can to help the family.
That's what I want. Money don't get everything, it's true. What it don't get, I can't use. I want money.
Wonder what they talk about in there.
I didn't catch the name.
Pussy.
Put him on the table.
I think I just got this jacket. You know, I try so hard. Gotta do something about Dickie Malasani. What a blow.
I know you can get anything.
Look at Dickie Moltisanti. He steps up, takes care of his family, takes care of all the bases.
If anybody tells anybody about this,
How you doing on your merit badges?
I want to do all kinds of good things.
It's the wanting. Pain comes from always wanting things. What do I know? I'm a murderer.
The best things in life are free.
Got myself a son.
hi Christopher, hello.
Okay, all right.
It's like a scam or something.
Some babies, when they come into the world, know all kinds of things from the other side.